Today we're talking about 5 bad habits that might be sabotaging your woodworking project, wasting your time and your money. Bad habit number 1, skipping the planning and prep stage. Have you ever been halfway into a project and realized you should have done something different, and now it's too late and you're stuck making the best out of a bad situation? This is one of the most common mistakes woodworkers make, rushing into a project without proper planning and prepping of material. This includes not measuring and marking accurately, not joining or planing wood surfaces properly, or not checking for defects like knots, cracks, or bows in the lumber. Skipping these essential steps can result in uneven cuts, misalignments, and overall poor craftsmanship. Before beginning a new project, just take the time to draw out a blueprint, sketch, or even just a rough drawing. You don't need to be a draftsman here. Just get it on paper and out of your head so you can visualize the full scope of the build and imagine it in 3D space. Or if you're using someone else's drawings, take the time to go over them and get a feel for each part of the build. Things you're going to be considering are what type of wood you'll be using, what are the measurements, how much material will you need, how much prep work will that material require, what types of joints you'll use, and how will you execute those with the tools you have in your shop. Once I go over the drawings, then I write down the steps I'm going to take, starting with purchasing the lumber, surfacing, and gluing, and so on. By the time I'm done with my steps list, I usually have identified several potential problems I might encounter so I can plan on how I'm going to tackle each one. So never skip this step. Bad habit number 2, not maintaining your tools. Your tools are the lifeline of your woodworking project, and neglecting their maintenance can lead to disastrous results. Not cleaning and sharpening or calibrating your tools regularly can result in blade burn, inaccurate cuts, blowouts and splintering, tool breakage, and bodily injury. Not to mention wasted time and money. Always take the time to properly clean, sharpen, and calibrate your tools before starting any new woodworking project. Try to make a habit that you can easily follow. Like before you use a tool, take the time to give it a quick inspection. Does it need sharpening, a quick cleaning? Maybe something actually needs to be replaced. Oh, and don't forget to unplug the equipment before you do any kind of maintenance on it. And that leads me to my next bad habit. Bad habit number 3. Ignoring safety. I have a tendency to think I'm invincible, so this bad habit hits home with me in a big way. Neglecting safety measures such as not wearing protective gear, not using the guards or safety devices on your tools, and not following proper techniques can result in serious accidents or injuries. So always wear your safety glasses, hearing protection, face masks if necessary, and make sure there's proper ventilation. Have a fire extinguisher on hand and have a proper way to dispose of chemicals, solvents, or oils you're working with. Make sure you've read all the safety manuals on your piece of equipment and follow safe woodworking practices at all times. Bad habit number 4, lack of precision. Woodworking requires patience and precision. Rushing through a project or being careless with measurements and cuts can lead to mistakes that are often difficult to fix. Mistakes that you might not even notice until you put the whole piece together and it just might be a little bit out. Mismeasurements are often the results of things like forgetting to account for the blade kerf. Kerf is the width of the cut created by the saw blade, not just the width of the blade, but the cut in the wood itself. Not holding the blade at the correct angle, using dull equipment, damaged measuring tools like a bent square or even a dull pencil can be a culprit, but most times it comes down to the simple adage: measure twice, cut once. Always double check your measurements and use precise techniques for accurate cuts and joinery. Bad habit number 5, not caring about the finish. The finishing process is just as important as the woodworking itself. I truly believe that the difference between a professional job and a novice one is the care they put into the finishing process. Things like not properly sanding, poor staining practices, poor sealing or wood wax technique, not reading the instructions on the product. These all can result in subpar finish that looks uneven, rough, blotchy, and overall unprofessional. Create strong finishing habits that will make your work stand out. Like when sanding, let the sander do the work. Work your way from the rough grit papers to the fine grit paper. Choose stains and sealants that are right for the wood you're working with. Do you need to condition your wood to get an even application of your stain? How many coats will you need with the wood wax? How long does your finish need to dry? And do you need to sand in between coats? Now, a lot of those things are trial and error as you learn. And don't be shy in your woodworking or lumber store. Those people know their stuff and they are there to help. So make sure you ask questions about finishing the lumber you just purchased. So there you have it. Those are my top 5 bad habits that could be ruining your woodworking project. Catch you next time. I have a tendency to think I'm invisible.